Welcome to Papa's Workshop. In today's video, I want to show you how to draw a star in Lightburn. In addition to that, I want to be able to take a logo to be able to add into the flag and make some subtle changes to be able to create a whole different look. Then we're going to take one of those designs and we're going to go ahead and engrave it. And this is going to be the results. I think it looks pretty fantastic, and I'm looking forward to being able to show you exactly how I did it. Let's get started. Thank you to all of my Patreons who helped to make this channel possible. And if you'd like to join the Patreon family, please go to patreon.com/papawsworkshop. I want to show you exactly how to be able to create a star that I can put into the flags. Come right over here to where it says create regular polygon. And I'm going to highlight that. And then I'm going to come over and I'm going to hold the shift key down and I'm going to make a polygon. And I need to have this, instead of the 6 sides, I need to have it as 5. And if I look across on the different tabs that I have, I do not have the shapes property. What I can do though is come right up here to the window, click on it, scroll down to the shape properties. Now I have it showing here. I can highlight that, and I need to set this at 5 sides. That creates now a 5-sided polygon, but I don't want the point at the bottom. I'm going to come up here to this selection, and this is the mirror selection for the vertical. And I'm going to click it, and now my point is here. Now I don't need the shapes property anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that out of here. I need to be able to connect these various points. I'm going to use the pen tool for that. I'm going to highlight the pen tool, and you'll notice that this will come right down and it will snap to that point. So I'm going to snap on it, come up to the next point, down to the next one, and so on, all the way over until I have this completed. And I'm back to where I began. I can hit escape, and now I have my star. But I need to get rid of this. So all I need to do is just highlight the polygon, right click, cut it, and I'm left with the star. I'm going to highlight my whole star because I want to be able to get rid of all these center points. The easiest way to do it is come over to the offset tool. Now I want this set at 0. I don't need to have any offset at all. And there it is. That is my star that I can now work with. I can make this star bigger or I can make it smaller. I can use any size that I want. The other thing that I can do is go ahead, I can make it as a fill. With this star now completed, I want to come over and show you how I'm going to use that. First thing, I'm going to go ahead and reduce this down. I'm going to slide it out of the way. Now that I have this flag over here in my work area, I want to show you these stars. And let's zoom in real close. These stars just look horrible. And if I use them to be able to engrave, it would come out just as bad. I want to use this star. So the first thing that we've got to do, let's reduce it down and let's get it to the size that we actually need it. So we need to have it smaller. And let's see how that is looking. That looks real good. I can click on an individual star and I can right click and delete it. So that star is gone. I can now highlight this star and bring it right back over into the same exact position where it was before. Now this was at 10.34, so that's what I'm going to use. And that puts it in the perfect alignment for this. Now I want to be able to go ahead and create some additional stars. I'm going to hit Control C and Control V. And see, that star will end up coming down here. Control V again. That star can come down into this spot. Control V. And that star can come into here. And I already have one for this spot. Now, why is that important? Because what I can do is make a column of these stars. And then I can delete these stars out. And just to show you, I'm going to go ahead and right click, cut it, bring my new star in, put it right into position, and remember that was 10.34. And that puts it in the proper alignment. Same thing for the next one. We're going to right click, cut it, bring my new star in, and I like that row of stars. Next, I want to take and do the same exact thing with this row. Now I have these two rows exactly where I want them. Now I can come through and highlight this row right here, and I can delete them. And I can take this row, these two rows, and I'm going to hit Control C and Control V. And I'll bring those right over and drop them where they need to be. Now, after just a few moments of copying and pasting, I have all the stars in the flag. I can change this back now to a fill, and that looks so much better than that original flag. So here's the completed flag now with all the stars exactly where they need to be, and I think you can agree that looks a whole lot better. So now with this one, we can actually engrave this flag just the way it is and have a beautiful flag. But what I'd like to be able to do is step it up a notch, and what I want to be able to create is being able to put the logos into the flag. And it may be in this area, it could be in the union itself, it really doesn't matter. Let me give you an idea of what I want to show you. So I'm going to click on New. I'm not going to save this, but I'm going to bring this one over. And this is one that I did a little while ago just to be able to show you the example. Now this is what I want to be able to accomplish. And you can do this with any logo that you particularly have or want to be able to put in there. The other nice thing about it is if you want to add a text, you can just put in a text, type it out, and we can make this as a fill. Let's go back into the select tool. We're going to come up here to the layers. We'll make that a fill, and then we could just put that in right here just for an example. So that could go into there. And of course I would change the color to make it black as well. So you can customize these flags really quick. So let's go ahead and delete this right now. We don't need that in there. I'm going to go ahead and create new. We're going to get rid of this, and I'm going to bring in this flag right here, and that has my nice pretty stars in it. Next thing, let's go find a logo. I think what I'm going to do is come up here to the eagle, and we're going to put the eagle logo in there. Now if we just take that and slide it into there, that's not going to look real good. So we need to be able to do a little bit of work on this first. First thing I want to do is just size it down a little bit, and there we go. Now I don't want it looking away from the union. I would really prefer the eagle to look at the union, and that's just a personal preference right now. So I can just click right up here and mirror the selection on the horizontal, and that takes care of it. So that's real easy to do. And I'm going to show you that one more time. This is where you can just flip it left or right and have it look in either direction. The next thing I want to be able to do is go over here to the offsetter tool. And I'm going to select on the offsetter tool, and I think I want this, I'd like that 0.05 of an inch, and to have that go on the outside, that will be good. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. Now you can see what it did to my eagle. There's the original eagle. And I want to create this as a line. I want to be able to see the individual lines here. And at this point, what I want to do, let's go ahead and highlight the whole entire eagle, and I want to select, now that's all grouped together, so we're going to ungroup it. Now I want to select just the outside. And I can now move just the outside away. All of this, I actually don't need. So I'm just going to highlight all of it, cut it, and be done with it. We're going to highlight this offset. We're going to slide it down here. Where do I want to put it? Let's say right about here. I think that's going to look good. Now, I want to come over and I want to select my flag, and I want to be able to hit the union or the weld. I want to hit this weld feature, and you see what that did right there? It welded this around and created my shape. And that way, now when I select my eagle can come right in here and it will snap right into position. And there he is. That's going to look real good. I'm going to come back and we're going to make this as a fill again. And that is one way that I could actually be able to engrave this. Now another thing that we could do is let's create this still as a line. Now this time I have everything selected and I'm using this bottom tool to be able to select it. Now when I come up and highlight the menu and select fill, it leaves it as the open area. From here I can go ahead and grab the eagle, slide the eagle in, and it gives a whole different look. So either way, you can make this where it's a dark background, or you can make it where it's a light background and the eagle will engrave. So that's two different ways with just a very slight change on how you present the background. Next, I want to show you yet a third way to be able to do the same thing with just a slight change in the background design. Is I want to be able to go ahead and select this inner outline of my eagle. I'm going to go ahead and hit the offset. And that's going to create a separate line here. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Now I'm going to select the outermost line, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key and select the flag. Then I'm going to weld that together. And that is going to now leave me with a border just like this all the way around. Now I can take my eagle and I can slide my eagle in there, and the eagle actually has an outline, and that looks really, really good. There you have three different ways, just by changing the background slightly, to be able to give three totally different looks for the same graphics. The next thing that I'd like to be able to do is set this up so that we can go ahead and engrave it. A lot of the plaques that I have run, I used the full width of the 1x12, which is 11¼ inches. But for this project, I want to be able to maximize this, and I'm actually going to cut this 10 inches long, but I want to split the wood in half. I want to be able to get two pieces to be able to do two projects with just that one 10-inch section of the 1x12. I want to go ahead and cut the 10-inch section first, and then I can set the rest out of the way for future projects. I'm going to go ahead and measure the halfway distance and set the fence for that. And then I'm going to just take the wood, run it on through. Now I want to be able to account for that saw blade width also. So I run the first piece through, and then just to make sure that they're identical, I'm going to run the second piece through, and it cuts off just a slight sliver of the wood. Now I know that I've got two pieces that are exactly the same size. That is what I'm going to be using for the next projects to be able to engrave these flags. I'm taking a straight edge, and I'm just going to measure from corner to corner to be able to mark the center. And the center point is where I'm going to be using the start point for the laser. The green dot right there in the center, that is the actual center of the project, and that's what I'm using to be able to engrave. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the Fox Alien laser today to be able to do the engraving. Over the past couple of weeks, I've made a lot of changes to the different Kerbal settings, and I actually made a mistake, and I've got to go back and figure out exactly what I changed. So rather than hunt down that today, I'm going to go ahead and use the Fox Alien to be able to engrave this. Now this is the 20-watt laser, and I am going to be engraving this at a much slower rate. So I'm going to be using 60 inches per minute, and I'm going to have a power of 70%. So this will definitely take longer, but once this one is done, I am going to go back in and figure out what mistake I made in the settings, correct it, and then be able to do this same flag using the X tool or this Gulf and Fun S9 laser. At the beginning of the video, I showed you how to make a star. The flag that I was using was imported in from Google, and the stars were not very good. But by making that one change and improving the stars, this is what I wanted to be able to show you. Just look how great they are. I also showed you how to do the eagle with several different versions. Well, this one, I went ahead and made it a little bit different also. The original flag that I started with those stars that just looked horrible, actually was a download from the Google search, and from all appearances it looked pretty good until you look close. And when you look close at it, it just did not do the trace bitmap really clear. But by doing it this way, look at the difference. You learned how to be able to put in some very detailed, sharp looking stars, and you can see how to add a logo in multiple different ways with just a very few changes. I hope this video today has helped and has shown you just how easy it is to be able to make those little small changes that make a big difference in the engraving. So I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the very next video that I do, whatever that may be.